Welcome to another episode of The Ronny Phillip Show. I'm your host, Ronny Phillip, with the Kingly Group at Keller Williams Realty, coming to you live from my office here in North Dallas. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate here in Texas, please give me a call or reach out to me. I'd love to help you out any way I can. If you're watching this video, make sure you give us a thumbs up, leave me some hearts, give me some comments, and leave some questions down below for us so that way we know who's watching. So, today I have one of the most influential and inspiring people I've ever had a chance to become friends with. This is my friend, my mentor, Austin Good with Angie Development and the Good Home Team.
Thanks for having me, Ronny.
Thank you so much for being on the show. I'm really excited for my audience to see all the success you've had in real estate investing. So, please just give us a brief intro of who you are and
Sure.
from there.
Yeah. My name's Austin Good. I'm 32 years old. My brother and I, we own several real estate companies, including a large real estate sales team, the Good Home Team, a real estate development company, Angie Development, a real estate investment company, and actually most recently a mortgage branch. I live, eat, sleep, breathe. If you can name it, you can think of it. I'm all things real estate. I love it.
That's awesome, man. All these different avenues of real estate you're getting into. So, what got you started in real estate?
Well, Ronny, I started reading books on wealth creation when I was actually about 13 years old. Mm-hmm. And it seemed like everything kept pointing back to real estate. That was the kind of the easiest route to go, it seemed like, to build real wealth. Yeah. So, I mean, that's basically how I got started initially. Mm-hmm. But I actually didn't get involved until 2009. Yeah. My brother Nick, who was already an agent before, was a solo agent, doing real well, called me up, asked me to join the team. Yeah. Yeah.
So, what age did you start real estate?
I think it was 24. Yeah, I was 24 when I joined Nick up.
Nice. So that was 2009 whenever
2009.
The market crashed. So what did you do before you got into real estate?
I was actually working in a boiler room with selling oil and gas drilling development. So I would call people up on the phone, ask them, to send me $200,000. Yeah. After a couple phone calls, never meeting them. Yeah. So it was a really high pressure sales tactic type of business. Yeah. Did real well at it.
And how long did you do that for?
I think I did that for about 3 or 4 years.
Okay, so you started around like 20?
Yeah, exactly.
So did you go to college or?
I did go to college. I dropped out of high school. Okay. When I was 17. Same like my brother. Yeah. And was running the family. My major in college was business, so I went to Texas Tech, but I really was there for a different type of business when I went. Didn't get a whole lot done. Mm-hmm. Went there for 2 years. Yeah. And then decided to come back home. Yeah. Kind of with my tail in between my legs, so to speak. Didn't get a whole lot of college credit out of it. Just a lot of life experience. Yeah,
I think college is definitely one of the paths to success, but I think as a businessman, it's definitely not necessary. So, did you end up getting a degree or anything like that?
No, but I went to school for like 5 or 6 years, so you would have thought they would have given me one. Yeah. But no, I never actually ended up getting a degree.
Yeah, the same here. Like, I dropped out of college at 21. I was 3.5 years in, about to apply to pharmacy school, and then I realized I need to take a different direction in my life. So it's just like seeing people like yourself becoming so successful without college is very inspiring, because not many people want to go to college and go that route. So I think that's awesome. And do you think it's necessary for success?
Absolutely not. Not necessary for success. Not at all.
So why did you choose real estate out of all the other industries you could have went into?
It's probably primarily my brother's influence. He was already doing it. I was burnt out doing the high-pressured sales tactics in oil and gas, and he's been begging me for past year or two to come join him up, and so it came down to his influence.
Yeah, and so when we hung out in Las Vegas for the Keller Williams family reunion, we were talking about the beginning of your career and stuff, because right now I'm 23, and I always reach up to mentors that have been in the same shoes as me. So what did the beginning of your career look like as far as like daily activities, challenges, and different things like that?
The beginning of my career, so it looked like it was 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. and it was 6 days a week. Usually on Sundays, I wouldn't say that I worked 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Sundays, but I definitely wasn't not working. I was constantly reading. I was obsessed with it, and still am to this day. But it wasn't work for me. It wasn't work for me. So I enjoyed it and I loved it. So
and whenever you're in the beginning of your career and different things like that, you must be obsessed to be successful in business. And that's one thing I learned from you, Austin, because having over 32 million in real estate holdings at 32 years old, that's pretty remarkable. And I think it's your work ethic that sets you apart from most people I know in my life that's in business. So I really admire you for that.
Appreciate that.
So let's talk about sacrifices. What sacrifices did you have to make to get to the level you are now?
Well, pretty much my social life through my entire 20s, I sacrificed. I didn't really have one. And also living on a fraction of my income. I constantly lived on a small portion of my income. Nick did too. We were paying ourselves very, very little. And it's something we continue to do. Live off of a fraction of what we make. We choose to reinvest quite a bit of it as we go. Now, as we've made more money, that fraction, has been, better. And so it does still affords a pretty, decent lifestyle.
And like I remember on Nick's interview, we're talking, and then also in Las Vegas, how y'all are telling me y'all pay yourselves $500 a month salary for like the first year or so in real estate.
And
that's crazy.
It was pretty rough, that's for sure.
But I think that's what you got to do, investing in yourself, to get to the next level. Like instead of investing into like depreciating assets and different things like that, like buying like fancy cars or clothes or anything like that. Y'all chose to reinvest it back into your business and saw opportunities that no one else has seen. So that's what got y'all to where y'all are now.
It's a lot of preparation and I don't want to say luck. When you're prepared, you can pounce on opportunities, and when opportunities come by, you recognize them.
And what was your first real estate investment, and how did that go?
So the first real estate investment that we did, I believe it was a flip property. It was a short sale, actually. And we bought it. I happened to know the person that was going through the unfortunate situation. I went to school with this person. And the house was in Plano. This is actually how I met Matt Aycock. At the time, he was an attorney working for, I believe it was Trinity Title. And he actually helped us to negotiate the short sale with a local credit union. Not only did we get that deal, we were able to create a relationship with the guy in charge of their foreclosure department, and we're able to buy about 8 more properties over the next 2 or 3 years. Probably made about $200,000 off of that contact. So, thanks, Matt.
So that's awesome. And Matt is with Pratt
Nacog, yeah.
So he's in our building as well. So that's pretty awesome to see how everything just starts to connect. So, in your opinion, what is the best investment as far as real estate goes? Like, what do you prefer? What do you like, or different things like that?
I love income properties.
Yeah.
So whenever you talk about real estate investment, I don't think of flips.
Yeah.
See, a lot of people, I think, confuse flips with investment. Mm-hmm. I think a flip is a day job, and it's something that you have to do. And if you aren't there physically, then it's not going to get done unless you've built a big company.
Yeah.
And you've got leverage and you're seventh level with it. Mm-hmm. But the best real estate investment to me is passive income mm-hmm. sources. So, mailbox money is what I like to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so would you say like single family or multifamily?
I like single family and multifamily. I like single family in multiples.
Yeah.
Thinking in terms of units.
Yeah.
Starting out with single family properties, and then as you go leveling up, and it doesn't have to necessarily mean complexes. I mean, you can buy packages of rentals. It's better if they're in the same location.
Yeah,
because it helps, but you can still get economies of scale from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. And how much real estate do you own currently?
So this is kind of tough. So I've got one of our biggest deals right now that we just finished. It's called Audra Heights. It's a duplex development. It's in Denton, 380 and 288. Mm-hmm. It's 72 units. Yeah. 36 duplexes, 72 units. They're all leased up. I recently just had an appraisal done on it because I completed a refi mm-hmm. on it. And the appraisal came in, it was $15.5 million, of which we did a cash out refi and cashed out $9.4 million. Well, I say that we cashed out, we ended up with about 1.8 in our pocket, mm-hmm. but we refied about 7.6 million mm-hmm. from the loans that were left. So when you subtract that leaves about $6.1 million in equity. Mm-hmm. Okay, out of that we own 50%. So that's roughly $3 million in equity from that. Our single family rentals worth about $3.8 million. We've got about 2.3 in debt on it. That leaves about $1.5 million in equity. And then we've got a new development. We're about to start roads and utilities on in the next week or two. That one, at its completion, will be worth about $12.5 million. It's 58 units. Same thing as my 72 unit. It's just up the street in Denton. Mm-hmm. There's going to end up with about $7.5 million worth of debt on it. Mm-hmm. So we'll have $5 million in equity, of which we own 50% of. We've got a 50-50 partner, Alex Varela, actually, Prime Lending. He's a lender, good friend of mine. So when you add up the total equity that Nick and I have, it's about a little over $7 million in equity.
I mean, and that's awesome. Like total portfolio worth, with everything would be $32 million, right? Yeah.
If you look at the gross, if we didn't have those loans, it would be worth $32 million. But yes, we control $32 million worth of assets right now.
And that's incredible, especially at 32 years old. So let's we all have people who we admire in our career. Who are the people who inspire you the most?
On the traditional real estate side, so, Nick and I, if you saw the last one, we run a pretty large real estate sales team, as agents who help people buy and sell. On that side of things, I'd have to say Tim Heil and even Josh DeShong in our office.
Incredible.
He's a big, inspiration. I admire him.
Young guys as well.
Yeah, younger than I am, for sure. I think he's 27 or 28, I believe.
I think he's like 29. So both of them are around 29, 30.
Okay, I'm giving you too much credit, Josh. Never mind. Scratch him from the list. But on the passive income generation side, it'd probably be Jim and Linda McKissick.
Yeah.
I think they authored the book.
Hold. Yeah, I have it up there.
Yeah, it's a great book.
So yeah, that's awesome. And what about like mentors? Like,
so a good buddy of mine named Keith Francis. He's been a huge wealth determiner.
Yeah.
And mentor for me. So I'd have to say my mentor would be Keith Francis.
Awesome. And let's walk through this Audra Heights development, because whenever we were in Las Vegas having dinner, we were discussing the Audra Heights development. And there's actually some of my friends who are probably watching this video that were tenants of yours.
Yeah, that's
which
wild.
is pretty crazy.
Yeah,
like
one
of my best friends was like telling me, "Hey, I just moved into a new neighborhood in Denton," and they sent me a picture. I'm like, "No way."
How did he like it?
Loved it.
Yeah.
Really, really great development. So that's like another thing. Like, as you increase your influence and as you increase wealth, you're gonna impact more people, and worlds are gonna connect that you haven't even thought of.
Yeah.
You know what
absolutely.
I mean? So like, with your Audra Heights development, just walk us through like how it all happened.
So this was the 72 unit development that we're talking about. About 5 years ago, my buddy Keith, who I was just speaking of, knew I was looking for a large project to get involved in. He happened to have ownership along with 2 other partners in this development that they had already put roads and utilities in for 36 duplex lots. And they'd already actually built and leased out 5 duplexes, 10 units on. They never really wanted the property. They were doing the work kind of as contractors. The developer decided to just go belly up and leave. And so instead of payment, they basically got the property. So they kind of got it by accident. But their development loan was coming due.
Yeah.
And his 2 other partners didn't want to put any more money into it. And so basically he called me up and asked if I was interested in the deal. I looked at it and said, okay, let's do it. It wasn't quite that simple. At first, I'd like to say that I saw that it was just like a home run right away. But I mean, at the time I was kind of inexperienced, so I had a little bit of doubts. But I mean, he kind of walked me through it and kind of showed me the ropes on it and said, hey, this is a great deal. So, I scrapped together money. I bought out 2 partners, $150,000 each to each of the partners, and I didn't have any more money left, so I took out a IOU from my buddy Keith. He allowed me to take a 1-year promissory note for his ownership interest, basically, because I didn't have the money to buy all 3 out.
Yeah.
I also had to convince the bank to let me assume $2.2 million in loans on the property.
Wow.
Okay. So this wasn't really easy because at the time my net worth was probably barely $500,000, and that was really inflating things quite a bit.
Yeah.
Typically, banks like to see a net worth of 1-to-1. I mean, at least the same amount or more than the loan amount.
Yeah.
So I had to meet with them several times, and where I lacked in the net worth category, I made up for in my confidence.
Yeah.
My ability to articulate the plan.
Yeah.
For the project. So they finally agreed to it. I then began the process of negotiating to get a construction loan to finish the street.
Yeah.
And so I did that. I was very aggressive. I was trying to get a loan to build all 31 remaining duplexes.
Yeah.
Which is crazy at the time because I hadn't even built a single house from start to finish.
Wow.
I had done quite a few flips.
Yeah.
But not even like real, maybe, what Tavis would call a tier 2, a heavy tier 2, but not even a tier 3 at the time. The original bank I assumed the loans from, they weren't being aggressive enough, actually, and only wanted to loan me enough for 2 or 3 at a time, which wasn't going to cut it.
Yeah.
I wanted to build enough at the same time to get the construction costs down.
Yeah, makes sense.
With bulk.
Yeah.
I had another contact at a different bank who actually agreed to refinance the $2.2 million plus give me an additional construction loan for the first phase of 11 duplexes.
Wow.
Which was basically another $2.2 million on top. So 4.4 total up to this point. Mm-hmm. That took me a year. Yeah. I operated the property for a year. Luckily, there was already 5 duplexes, 10 units leased, and it was losing a little bit of money, but barely kind of breaking even. Yeah. So I could float it. Yeah. I had very limited cash at the time, but I did have some free and clear rental properties, which we were able to pledge as equity in lieu of a cash down payment. Yeah. So, long story short, I completed the first phase in a year. Yeah. Got another loan for 10 more duplexes for phase 2. And I had to come up with a little bit of a down payment. But I was able to fund it straight from my construction loan at closing. Yeah. So I worked this out with Deke Alexander. He was instrumental in this. He's my banker. And, he really helped he knew every time I went in, I was like, Deke, look, I really don't have any money, but I want to do this. Like, what can we do? And he was great at helping me finagle that. Yeah. By the time the third and final phase came around, the final 10 lots were debt-free. Wow. Since the takedown schedules are usually, for the land, are usually a lot higher than the actual lot cost when you roll them into the loans as you complete these. So I was able to pledge that free and clear dirt to do my last phase with nothing out of pocket. So that was the easiest part. And I finished my final phase at the end of last year. All 72 units were leased up for, at the time, $1,500 each. Yeah. And then this year I just did a cash out refi, a full-blown, non-recourse Fannie Mae apartment loan for $9.4 million. Wow. Which is a beating, by the way, but it's the granddaddy of all financing. Yeah. I mean, it's non-recourse, which means I'm not personally responsible for the debt. Yeah. If things go south, they can take back the property, but they can't go after me or any of my other assets personally. And that's actually huge. Yeah.
Especially with a big development like that.
Well, and when I go to borrow money for other large projects, I don't have to put this on the contingent liabilities section of my financial statement. So it basically clears me up to be able to do this all over again. Wow. Which we are with another 58 units up the street. Same lender.
That's awesome, man. So yeah, that development it really blew my mind on how you did that, because you said this was what, 2012 or 2000?
2012, I believe, is when we started it, and we finally finished in 2017. It took 5 years.
Yeah, and I remember Vika posting a video on it only took 5 years, but
only took 5 years,
and that's crazy. And how did you have the courage to just go out and do that? Because that's like what, a $10 million project?
It's okay. So the total project cost, you're about right. $9 million. Wow. Total project, and I was crazy. I went in there. I told you from the beginning, not barely being worth $500,000, and that was kind of calling my businesses worth more than they, really were at the time. And I was crazy. I wanted the entire $9 million up front. Yeah. And I literally had not even built a house from start to finish. Yeah. I wanted to run the entire construction project. I wanted to build 72 units at the exact same time. And I'm still convinced today if they let me do it, it would have been an even better deal, because I would have, my construction cost would have gone down probably about 10% by doing that. Plus, over those 3 phases, the 3 years during those phases, construction costs have creeped up. Like the very last phase, 20% increase from the first in construction costs. Yeah. I mean, it's nuts right now. So
yeah, I mean that's crazy. So this, so you found the deal that way, funded with the bank, and it's 72 units. And what do you rent out the units for now?
Now they're going for $1,550 per month.
Yeah. So
I've been raising it.
Wow. And they're all fully leased out?
They're all fully leased out. I think the net operating income is somewhere in the neighborhood of 900,000 or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. And this next project...
This next project is, it's called Sherman Crossing.
Yeah.
It's 58 more units.
Yeah.
It's the same as my 72 units, only this time, because I have a track record now.
Yeah.
And I have the net worth to be able to support it. It'll be a 2-year project, not 5 years. And,
wow.
and the bank, I mean, when you do something like this successfully, the president of the bank will call me up and try to get me to do development loans. He tried to give me money.
Yeah.
So I mean, you have to fight and scratch and claw to get there. But once you've shown them, I can make a phone call and get millions of dollars easier than I can get actually a home loan with Fannie Mae on a personal residence. I mean, with less paperwork. Mm-hmm. So it's crazy.
Yeah, I think like the commercial side is much different, especially with your experience and different things like that. So what would be your advice for a brand new investor who's like watching this video?
Take action. Learn on the go.
Yeah.
Fear's the biggest issue that 99% of people have out there. Mm-hmm. They're so scared to mess up that they either just stop trying or they get into analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
Because they're so scared to get a bad deal.
Yeah.
You definitely need to do some initial research and learning before you start. However, once you know the basics, maybe send your thoughts to an experienced investor or something to give it a quick look, and then just do it.
Yeah.
Then analyze what you've done and make adjustments and do it again.
Yeah. So for like brand new investors, would you recommend, if you're like wanting to build capital, would you suggest flips or just partnering or?
It depends. So like, it depends. So like, not everybody is in real estate, mm-hmm. like as a profession.
Yeah.
Okay. If you are in real estate as a profession and you're an agent and you're doing any amount of volumes, and you find some deals and you can do it, or if you don't have the money or the credit to do it, then bring it to me or bring it to somebody who's experienced and get paid a bird dog fee, get paid a percentage, and then do that. If you bring me a deal or two, I've done this with Brandon Richards. I'll go half on, I'll do all the work. If he brings me a deal, I'll do all the work and give him 50% of the backside.
Yeah.
I won't do that all the time, but like just to show them.
Yeah.
To show people how to do it, but you got to go out and find the deals. Yeah. You don't necessarily need the money to start.
It's like you find the deal, and then the money will come.
That's absolutely correct. Yes.
Because anyone would want to work and work deals out all day. So like if someone has little to no money, how did they get started?
So you don't need money to get started at all. It helps for sure. Yeah. But not necessarily, actually.
Yeah.
But you can start the learning process.
Yeah.
There are plenty of free resources out there. Find a free or very low-cost method of lead generation, like bandit signs, even though that's, code enforcement probably is not going to like me saying that. But, and a lot of people are annoyed by that stuff. Yeah. But, I mean, it works. Yeah. Or cold calling or door knocking. And then once you have a seller on the hook, bring it to an experienced investor like me, and they'll pay you for that lead. And depending on how many deals you start finding, they'll probably allow you to partner, just like I said, on a couple. Go check out biggerpockets.com. Mm-hmm. They've got some free guides on getting started. Also, contact me on Facebook to let me know about potential deals and if you have questions. I believe we're going to have a link down in the comments below where they'll be able to submit properties directly into my CRM for us to start marketing to. I mean, we'll start sending them letters. We'll start calling them. Mm-hmm. If you have legit, potential leads, and if we buy it, you'll earn a nice fee. Yeah, and like just like with Brandon Richards that one time. Yeah. How much did you pay him on that one deal? Well, he brought the deal, and that's, I mean, Brandon is a hustler. So, I mean, absolutely. He brought that deal to me. He made $42,000. Just basically wholesaling the deal to me. He didn't close on it. He wholesaled the deal to me. I knew how much he was going to make on it. I didn't care. If he made $100,000, I wouldn't care. Yeah. I ended up making 30 or 35,000 on it. It was a flip.
Wow.
That's what I needed to make on it to make my margins work.
Yeah.
So it was a win-win for both of us.
That's awesome, man. $43,000 payday. So if y'all have deals, make sure you send it to us for us to look at it.
Absolutely.
You know, so as far as like being an investor, part-time, full-time, what is your opinion on that?
So an investor to me infers someone who's adding passive revenue, which inherently means you'll probably need to start part-time, unless you're already rich. I mean, in which case you really don't need to do anything. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then what about like real estate agents treating the industry as like a side job or a hobby hustle?
You know, some people have problems with that.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I'll never hate on someone trying to improve their lives.
Yeah.
So if they're able to supplement their income, then more power to them.
Yeah.
What I have a problem with is them not taking it seriously and recklessly representing clients.
Yeah.
So I do still believe that you can, as long as you do the proper research and make sure that you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I think the side hustle thing can be just fine.
Yeah, it's just make sure you're delivering excellent results in customer service and.
Yeah, I know my brother probably. I think on his he disagreed with this one a little bit, but you know.
And so now, what does your daily activities look like?
I wake up at 6 a.m. I've got a personal trainer session at 7 a.m. I come home. I take a look at a list of all the flips, owner finance deals, and rentals I've got under construction right now, or maybe under contract that I don't know yet where the money's coming from.
Yeah.
Because I'll put stuff under contract before I even know where I'm going to come up with the money, or if I don't have but I do have resources and access, some private money here, and great relationships with banks. And then I kind of prioritize a list of attack for the day.
Yeah.
But I'm always constantly looking to acquire deals. That never stops. I mean, those kind of things never stop.
So it's just like having that mindset on. But how important is it for you to follow a schedule?
It's important. I mean, if it's not on my calendar, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
So it is important to have it. I could definitely do a better job at that. I could be more, disciplined with it. I was very, very disciplined for a long time with it. I had to be. Whenever I actually did the Odger project, when I was like, holy crap, they actually are going to allow me to take all this money and
having
they're like, here, start 20 units. And I'm like, where do I start?
Yeah.
I haven't really even built a house from start to finish yet. My mentor, Keith, he kind of laid it all out for me in the beginning, and he's always there to, help me. So, I mean, that was instrumental.
Yeah.
For sure.
Awesome, man. And what advice would you give to an agent who wants to transition into an investor full-time?
I'd say figure out your freedom number. Figure out your freedom number. The freedom number it's the total amount of money that you need to sustain your lifestyle. Okay. Yeah. In the beginning, it helps if you'll do a budget and have a real audit of your lifestyle, and whether or not you need certain expenses first. I mean, be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Do you really need, that super expensive lease car or whatever? It depends on your financial situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's easier if you have lower expenses starting out. And if you can get to hit that freedom number, then it'll free you up to have enough time.
Yeah.
But so if your freedom number is, $5,000 per month, then set a plan on how you're going to acquire that. And I think in this case, I would focus on owner finance deals right now.
Okay.
Since with an owner finance deal, you have a fixed return.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is like rental properties, which you may think you're making $500 per month on in cash flow when you buy rentals on certain ones. and I hear it all the time from investors, but I promise that if you own them long enough, your repairs and capital expenses are going to tear through that real fast. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And with owner finance deals, you should be able to get to $5,000 per month with about 10 deals.
Wow.
And you can comfortably do that in 2 to 3 years without a whole heck of a lot of effort. Now, a lot of people are thinking, well, owner finance deals, typically you own the houses outright. How am I going to just, buy 10 houses for cash? Well, that's where private investors come in. That's where banks come in. There are banks that will allow you to do those, actually. And even though, it violates the due on sale clause, there are banks that will actually waive that.
Okay.
And with private investors, they don't care. They just want to make their, return.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense. And as far as like partnering up with like your brother in multiple business, how does that work?
We keep it really simple, actually. All our businesses are owned 50-50. It's no matter what. I mean, give you an example. If Nick starts coaching clients and he's doing that and that's taking up his time, he splits that with me 50-50. If I do a deal that has nothing to do with, he's done nothing with, and maybe we didn't even use capital that came from stuff generated from us. It was just purely from my efforts. It's 50-50. There's no disputing it. I can tell you this: some years my side does more than his, and some years his side does more than mine, and has been that way. It typically evens out, but even if it's not, you just have to be prepared to be, okay with that.
Yeah. So it's just like having that set standard. And as far as like, is it good to partner with people, like, especially family?
This is a tricky question. So it's a double-edged sword. It can be the biggest advantage ever, or the dumbest decision ever. You really need to have an honest look at your relationship with that person. You need to have an honest look at, what each of you are going to be providing. Is one person going to be doing more of the work? I mean, you should know this person better than anybody in their history. And you should really look at yourself too. And you really need to be able to be honest with yourself before you decide to do that. I'd say most of the time it probably is not a good idea. But when it does line up and it is perfect, then you have an advantage over a lot of people. Because there's a certain level of trust there that you can't get with any other business partner.
I mean, with y'all sales team, like, what are y'all going to do in volume this year?
On the real estate sales team, our goal was $75 million. I think we're going to fall short of that quite a bit. I think we'll be at 60, maybe $65 million in volume.
So $65 million, and then you had, this $32 million in assets. So it's just, I think with just those two examples and all the different ventures y'all started, y'all have a pretty good partnership.
I can't complain.
So what motivates you?
Well, on the surface level, passive income. Not the income itself necessarily, just the freedom it provides. It's really a tremendous feeling to know that you're free. And while you still choose to work and push harder, you don't have to.
Awesome. And how do you balance work life, family life, social life at the level you are now in your business?
Well, I'm really lucky, actually, because for me, all of those things blend together really quite nicely. My wife, Vika, is a top business development rep for Capital Title. My brother's my business partner. His fiance is an escrow officer for Lawyers Title. And 90% of our friends are also in the business. So, luckily, they all blend quite well together.
That's awesome, man. And what do you like to do for fun outside of real estate?
Really just, like hanging around my house with my wife, hanging by our pool. We also enjoy traveling a lot.
Yeah, I saw y'all went to Thailand for 17 days?
18 days, yeah, it was a blast, a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I highly recommend it, yeah.
Saw all the snaps and stuff.
Mika will not stop talking about it. She wants to go back already.
I mean, 18 days, man. With that type of freedom you have now, like that's pretty awesome that you can have the choice to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I won't lie. When I came back, I was swamped. So,
But still, you had that chance to do that. So
we were 12 hours of difference in time, so there's not a whole lot of work I could get done.
Mm-hmm. So you have multiple real estate companies. So let's talk about Angie Funding, your owner finance, and then Town Square Mortgage.
Okay. So I'll talk about Town Square first. Town Square Mortgage, we've got a branch there that we started earlier this year.
Yeah.
It was born out of the need to want to control the process for our Good Home Team clients more, and to give them a better option for their mortgage experience.
Yeah.
Michael DeBacker is our superstar loan officer. Highly suggest you guys set up a time to do coffee with him. You'll be super impressed, and I mean, he's got bandwidth to be able to handle it, and I mean, you'll love him. So it's I'll post in the comments. I'll tag him.
I'm sure he's commented on here already. So
sure.
And then what about
Angie Owner Finance? We started that earlier this year, and we started that because we just did a cash out. That cash out I was just telling you about on Audra, the 72-unit development. We pulled out $1.8 million that we needed to place into something.
Yeah.
We got it at about 4.7% interest. So it's costing me 4.7%. So I needed a place to put it.
Yeah.
And pretty much all of multifamilies, in my opinion, is overpriced right now.
Yeah.
Cap rates are suppressed, and I think it's already starting to. We're seeing signs of softening, but I figured that the owner finance would be the best bet. I mean, we're able to get 20 to 30%, returns on that. So the biggest problem is you can't just take 1.8 million and put it in.
Yeah.
You have to do it $50,000 at a time.
Yeah.
So.
And what about Angie Funding? Tell us more about that.
So Angie Funding is, I had a lot of demand from people who wanted to, get involved in a, not in an active capacity, but they wanted to get returns. They had, 50,000 or 200,000 sitting around in either a CD or an IRA or a 401k, and they weren't earning that much money on it. Some of them had it sitting in just a checking account.
Yeah.
So this is the way we pay 8% returns, 8% interest. It's paid monthly. That 8% is annualized, paid monthly, and it's secured by real estate. And we keep the loan to values pretty low, so we're not maxing out leverage here. I mean, we're keeping everybody real secure on it, and so this is just a way for us to continue to do it. I mean, sometimes we get more deals than we have funds available.
Yeah.
That just happens. So that's what that was born out of.
Awesome. And what about like owner financing, and what got you in the world of the owner financing?
Well, it's funny. So I had a conundrum. I was pulling out this money. I knew I needed to pull this money out because it wasn't over leveraging it. I mean, we looked at it. Alex on our team is super great at analyzing things. We were running break even analysis and sensitivity analysis and stress tests and stuff like that. And so we got into the owner finance world because I did a lot of research on it. Yeah. And there's a book by Mitch Stevens called My Life in 1,000 Houses, which I highly recommend, which goes over the strategy in detail. But that problem created, I needed to know where to put it. And I didn't necessarily know where to put it. So I started looking at different things, started looking at, stock market, looking at this, looking at that. And that's kind of where I landed.
Okay, awesome, man. And if you had to start your business from scratch in 2017, you had no money, nothing. What would you do differently?
That's a good question. I wouldn't change much from when I first started, other than I'd ask for more help from my friends and families for referrals to help build the business. I would ask more. I wouldn't be shy in the sense of, wanting people to think I know everything. Yeah. There's no dumb questions, and sometimes at first I just wanted to seem like I knew it by not asking, but that's that'll hold you back. You got to ask for help. You got to ask for questions, and sometimes you got to ask what might appear to be dumb questions to learn more.
I'm pretty sure I've asked you a lot of dumb questions.
You that's all you ask. Actually.
Yeah, but especially whenever it comes to whenever you're starting or different things like that, you do have to reach up to mentors who've had the results you want in your life. So I think that's awesome. And what does your vision look like for your life and in your business 5 years from now?
To have 10 plus real estate locations, selling over $350 million in real estate volume, and for Nick and I, it's to have over $1 million each in passive income. Yeah. So if we decided to stop working, which we never will, but if we did, then we'd have $1 million minimum coming in from passive sources.
And what about for your real estate portfolio? What do you want it to look like 5 years from now?
Well, that it's really reliant on how much income to get to that passive. It depends on how much equity I have in each deal. That could be 1,000 units. It could be 2,000 units. It really depends on how much equity I have into each deal. Yeah. What's my cut? Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. And what was the biggest failure and lesson you've learned in your real estate career and in your life?
Well, this is going to sound cocky, but there really hasn't been a huge failure. I do have a house closing this week that I flipped that I'm losing $20,000 on.
How did that happen?
A combination of terrible floor plan coupled with street noise, which normally still, I factored in all of those things. It's kind of a weird thing. The appraiser even called me on this and asked me, what's wrong? This doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. It literally called me 2 days ago and could not figure out why this was going for so low. He thought there was something wrong, but I told him I know. Yeah. But no, it just happened that way.
Yeah.
So it's really weird.
You win some, you lose some, right?
Yeah, and before that, the most we ever lost on a deal was $1,000, something like that. But I think the biggest reason I can't cite a huge failure is I guess it's not really. It doesn't really become a huge failure unless you give up, and we don't really give up. I mean, we've had a ton of small failures along the way. I mean, we continue to, and we actually look forward to them. I mean, for every failure, it just means you're one step closer to finding success. I mean, just get them out of the way.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. And what's the biggest thing holding you back right now from getting to the next level?
So, truth is, it's definitely my own limiting thoughts and beliefs. I think inherently, whenever you start growing in business and in life, you continue to hit ceilings. And those ceilings are usually all psychological. For me, I think sometimes I battle from time to time with complacency, or really just becoming comfortable. Which, as you become more and more successful, it becomes more and more prevalent. Thoughts like, I'm already making X amount of money and doing so great, I could stop, working today and still live a great life. Why should I push and go outside my comfort level? All those things start creeping in, thoughts, but you have to overcome them, I think, by having a better why, a bigger passion, over just, the pursuit of money.
Yeah, so what is your big why?
Yeah, I knew you were going to ask me that. That's a tough question. It really, I'm still searching for it, but I mean, really, right now, it's to bring up other people through the Good Home team. We've got some spectacular agents, and we want to develop some other spectacular agents. I mean, Elizabeth is doing great. Arthur is doing great. And just helping people get to the next level so that they can live the same lifestyle. Yeah. And there's a lot of gratification in that, knowing that you are not the only reason, but you're a direct, influence in making that happen. So
yeah, just being like a wealth determiner.
Exactly, being a wealth determiner. There's no better feeling.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And as far as like expansion, are you looking to grow and expand your investment company as far as like building like maybe like an acquisition team or getting into different things like that?
Yes and no. Let me tell you what I mean by that. Not really in the traditional sense. I don't want to have a high volume, low revenue per deal business, and I'm talking about strictly like on the wholesale side. So most wholesale businesses out there, I think, typically make between $3,000 to $7,000 per deal that they wholesale. I know people that have higher ones than that, but I think that's a pretty safe bet to say. I don't want to scale that way, where I'm going to have to do 100 plus deals to make any real money. We already have that business, basically, which is the Good Home team. But what I'm doing right now is getting my systems and processes in place so that I can leverage by bringing an acquisition guy on. But the only difference is I'll be targeting deals with 20,000 plus profits in them. And it will more than likely come from a combination of fix and flips, wholesale deals, meaning where you buy them and close on them and do very little to it. Maybe some cleanup only, and then put them right back up for sale. And then some traditional wholesaling, contract flipping. 20,000 profit for just wholesaling deals. You're going to have to mix in there actually doing the flips and things like that. It's not as realistic to say this is going to be all contract flipping, but I want a mixture of those things so that I don't have to do as much volume. Because like I said, we already have that high overhead business with the Good Home team.
So just making it more of a smaller, more powerful oiled machine, as you can say. So that's cool. So if y'all have any questions, please comment below. We'd love to answer them. And if you found this video of value, make sure you share it. And what can my audience do to support you?
Well, the first thing you can do is friend me on Facebook. And then you can start bringing me potential deals. I'll post a link in the comments, I said, where you can enter those bird dog leads directly into my CRM. I'll pay agents a minimum of 3%, and non-agents will be a minimum of $1,000 finder's fee. The next thing you can do is if you or someone you know has more than $50,000 sitting in a retirement account or just a checking account or CD, they can invest with me and earn 8% annualized return paid monthly. The real estate will be collateral, and we keep the total loan to value pretty low, so it lowers the risk considerably. And to learn more about that, go to Angie-Funding.com, which we'll post down there. It's got a short video that explains a little bit about it. It won't go into great detail, but just check it out and reach out to me. Message me through Facebook if you want to learn more.
This was a really awesome episode. I'm glad. This is actually Austin's first ever interview on camera or even on a podcast, so I'm honored to be the first one to interview you. As the years progress and things like that, you're going to start getting on other podcasts, so it's really awesome to be the first one and help break you out of that shell as well. So,
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
If y'all have any questions, we'd love to answer them below, so make sure to comment. And we have both our YouTube channels, so I'm going to put a link in the either description or in the comments. Make sure y'all subscribe to our channels, because me and Austin, we might be doing videos in the future. We might go over the Audra Heights deal in detail, like whiteboard or the Sherman Crossing.
Or maybe we can go out there and walk the street.
Yeah, so we can do a walkthrough of that. So make sure y'all subscribe to our channels. It's going to be in the links in the comments. And if y'all found this video of value, make sure you share it. And if y'all have any questions for us as far as real estate investing goes, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Message us, comment, and make sure to click that follow button if this is y'all's first time here. So once again, I'm Ronny Phillip with the Kingly Group at Keller Williams Realty, and also with Kingly Acquisitions. If y'all have any questions for me as far as buying, selling, or investing in real estate goes, reach out to me. Love to help y'all out any way I can. And thank y'all so much for tuning into this video. And I hope y'all have an amazing day. Take care.